Dark Horse's Buffy the Vampire Slayer hit bookstores and spinner racks in October of 2007. The same month that Soulja Boy's Crank That was the number one song, and this hairstyle was popular among men and boys. This issue focuses on a stealth mission taken on by Faith to kill Lady Genevieve Savage, a slayer with incalculable wealth and power. As Faith edges closer to her goal, she is thwarted by a trio of protective gargoyles who knock her out cold. Once revived, she's shocked to learn that Lady Genevieve is eager to recruit Faith to kill the true enemy of all slayers worldwide, Buffy Summers. This story continues in issue number 8. This issue was written by Brian K. Vaughan, best known for the comic book series Y, The Last Man, Ex Machina, Runaways, Pride of Baghdad, Saga, and Paper Girls. Brian has written for Marvel and DC in the past. This issue was drawn by George Jeanty, a comic book penciler and illustrator best known for his work The American Way. In an interview exclusive to Read the Freaking Comics, George goes into detail about his experiences creating Buffy. My memories of working on Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 8 are nothing but good. It was such a whirlwind time that you don't realize until you look back. I was working in a studio with a bunch of other guys who had various projects of their own, and when I got the Buffy gig, everyone kind of snickered because it seemed like such a middle-of-the-road project considering there were superheroes to draw. I took one look at the talent I was going to be working with, and with a little coaching from my future editor Scott Alley, I happily jumped into the Buffy train and didn't look back for the next 10 years. It was such a blast because Joss Whedon was actually working and writing a bunch of the scripts. I look back now and think how lucky I was to have gotten this gig. With no small amount of humility, we all went on to make history. Jeanty started penciling the first issue of Season 8 immediately after completing The American Way, working closely with Joss Whedon in bringing the television series to the comic book world. In doing this, Whedon strictly wanted comic book stylized versions of the Buffy characters that carry the essence of the television counterparts without looking like redrawn picture stills. Andy Owens was the inker on this issue. Owens is a 20-year comic book veteran. He has worked on Superman, Batman, Nightwing, Green Arrow for DC Comics. He worked with Scott McDaniel on DC titles for more than 10 years. He also worked on X-Men, Wolverine, and Uncanny Inhumans for Marvel, and worked on Conan and Hellboy for Dark Horse Comics. Jill Chen, the cover artist, is best known for her highly detailed painted comic book covers. She established herself producing interiors and covers for titles including Dark Minds, Macropolis, Battle of the Planets, Robotech, Fight for Tomorrow, Taskmaster, The Demon, Thor, and Batman and Robin. Colorist Dave Stewart has been recognized for his work, winning multiple Eisner Awards for coloring. Stewart has worked for DC, Marvel, Dark Horse, and Image Comics. Letterer Richard Starkings is a British font designer and comic book letterer, editor, and writer. He's one of the early pioneers of computer-based comic book lettering and is one of the most prolific creators in the industry. The series is produced by Joss Whedon, who is best known as the creator of several television series like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and its spin-off Angel, the short-lived but beloved western Firefly, and sci-fi drama Dollhouse. Whedon has worked in the MCU, directing The Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron, while also working on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And this is all we're going to say about Joss Whedon. Let's just stick with the positive. This issue was edited by Scott Alley and Sarah Hahn. Alley was the editor and executive at Dark Horse Comics from 1994 to 2017. He edited series like Hellboy and The Umbrella Academy. Sierra Hahn has edited several comic books in Dark Horse Comics' Alien and Predator lines. She also worked on other titles, including the horror anthology Picsou and the supernatural action noir Mesmo Delivery, The Umbrella Academy, and the graphic novel Troublemaker. She also worked on the comic book tie-ins for Dr. Horrible's Sing Song Along blog, Serenity, The Guild, and The Terminator. In February of 2023, Sierra Hahn left Dark Horse and was named the Oni Press new editor-in-chief. Here's some interesting tidbits about this issue. Earlier in the run, it was revealed that Dawn had been cursed, apparently as a result of sleeping with a thrice-wise demon while a college student, and is now a giant. Throughout her affliction, she spends a lot of time with Xander, to whom she reveals she was cursed as a result of cheating on Kenny with his roommate. In this issue, Dawn almost reveals to Willow the true reason of her curse, but is interrupted by Renee. Dawn will finally tell Xander in Anywhere But Here. The title, No Future for You, refers to a verse from the Sex Pistols song, God Save the Queen. According to Scott Alley in the previous issue's Slay the Critics, the entire story of No Future for You arc has its earliest roots in Joss and Brian talking about doing a Faith TV movie. This issue was the 7th best-selling comic in October of 2007, with 94,000 sales at comic specialty stores. Season 8 was originally supposed to consist of about 25 issues, but eventually expanded to a 40-issue run. This series also spawned a handful of spin-off titles, including a Tales of the Vampires follow-up and one-shots focusing on Willow and Riley. As a massive Buffy fan, I was delighted when Dark Horse announced they were starting a series based on the beloved TV show. To enforce the connectivity with the TV series, Dark Horse and Wheaton called the first volume Season 8, as the show ended at 7. Without the constraints of a TV-sized budget and limited visual effects, back in the early 2000s at least, the Buffy comic was able to explore new avenues, topics, monsters, and settings, which are all showcased in this one issue. Dawn's gigantism curse, gargoyle monsters with fantastic settings and beautiful medieval castles are just part of the norm for this series, and I'm here for it. George Jeanty and Dave Stewart's work on the series has been impeccable. Each character design has a likeness to their real-world counterpart, but are also unique to the comic series. The colors are rich and detailed throughout. Action panels are well laid out and keep you interested without being too overwhelming. I am such a huge fan of the entire Buffyverse, and was really excited to dive into Season 8 the moment it was released. I ordered the entire series from Things from Another World online. Things from Another World, or TFAW, is a great service that delivers comics in carefully sealed and protected envelopes that guarantees you get your comics in the best quality possible. This isn't an ad for them, by the way, but if any of them are listening, you know where to hit me up. As this series is fairly new by comic standards, you can pick up an issue for fairly cheap. I found it selling for Amazon for $4.99, and an issue was available on eBay for about $2.43. Dark Horse Comics is a comic book, graphic novel, and manga publisher founded in Milwaukee, Oregon by Mike Richardson in 1986. The company was created using funds earned from Richardson's chain of Portland, Oregon comic book shops called Pegasus Books. This issue was the 112th most popular comic book from 2007. Buffy #1 was listed as the 15th most popular. In 2007, the top 300 comics sold had a total retail price of $270 million, which was up 7% from the previous year and worth about $364 million today. Print comics industry-wide, including bookstores, clubs, and newsstands, totaled $660 to $700 million, or about $1 to $1.06 billion with a B today. In 2007, Dark Horse was in third place in terms of overall comics sold that year, with a 4.48 market share. Marvel and DC were fighting for 79%, while 16% was split between publishers and imprints like Image, Dynamic Forces, IDW, Viz, and Wizard. Dark Horse had a 5.61 share in overall dollars, equating to about $37 to $39 million. In the modern age of comics, advertisements are professionally created by a team of marketing and graphic design experts, and they are completely boring. However, there is a small nostalgic factor when seeing ads for DVD box sets. In this case, Tales from the Crypt, the complete series. Dungeons & Dragons ran 2 ads, one for the game itself and another for collectible miniatures. PlayStation was promoting their portable device with the oddly named Siphon Filter Logan's Shadow game. There were ads for Microsoft's Age of Empires 3 and a Conan the Barbarian game. Dark Horse were promoting themselves no less than 4 times with ads featuring characters from other comic series. This is a clever marketing tactic. There are no ads for comic shops in this issue, so I completely randomly selected a comic shop that you may want to check out. If you find yourselves in Southern California, you should check out Heroes and Champions, located at 574 E El Camino Real in Sunnyvale, California, because we all know the Sunnydale location was destroyed when the Hellmouth swallowed the entire city. Thanks for checking out this video. If you want to see more, please hit like and subscribe. If you have suggestions for comics you want me to deep dive into, please leave a comment below. Please help and support real artists. AI is great for a lot of things, but not for creating art and replacing artists. Thank you.